and I'm not perfect. I'm trying to go down a path of like righteousness, and I'm trying to be the best person I can be, because I mess up all the time, bro. Like every day, like I find something new that I have to work on. But like this path is like, it's a grind, just like anything in life. Like you're never gonna reach to a point where it's like, I've read enough of the Bible, I've read enough of the Quran, like I know what I'm talking about, I've been doing this for years. No, it's still stuff that you can learn years and years later. That's one thing I've learned in my process of like in building my relationship with God. Like many times where I got my pride in the way, I've kind of been knocked down because I'll slip up with something I thought I corrected myself in, which I really didn't. But it just helps you to stay humble and just remember, like, nobody's perfect, but you can keep trying to do your best. I didn't know the photo shoot was gonna go that good, bro.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of pictures that I seen that Chris took, bro, was like ideal website pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Like it literally couldn't have been better. The one with you, like you were wearing the sweater and then you had your chains out and then you had the shoots, bro. It's so tough. So tough.
Some clean
and then the back, not the pause, not the back shot, but the back part of it. The back part of it had the red, white, and then you had the J's on,
mm-hmm.
the red and white J's. I was like, oh, that's so tough.
I'm just mad that we didn't exchange. I noticed, like, right when we got the first pallets of ours, you never took off the black sweater. I don't think you ever wore this one or the white one. That's what I was thinking too. And I was like, putting the reels together, I was like, damn, he didn't change as much. I was like,
I wanted to wear
time.
that one.
I want to
buy.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, bro.
Every time that I posted it on my personal page, like when I did it today, like people really liked that one. Like this one.
Yeah,
people
that's tough. That's tough, especially how it looks with the change. So I'm just like, damn, like that's tough. And even how it feels, I was like, I felt comfortable in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can work out. I can go to work out in this. I can go, if I'm going to the mall, going to chill. If it's cold, I can throw it on. Like,
I would recommend, though, to get a size bigger. That's why I do want to let people know when we go live with the website and the clothing, like, hey, go a size bigger with these. Because even for me, like, if I lift my hands up, it kind of raises almost pretty close. So I was like, if I were anybody, like, just get a half size bigger.
Yeah. It looks like a crop top when you put your hands up. Huh?
It does kind of.
Hey, yo.
That's why I was kind of like, oh, man.
Hey, nah.
Look like Zeke Elliott?
Zeke Elliott.
Zeke Elliott, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, that definitely, like, all of the sweaters, definitely I didn't want to take them off. They were comfortable, fire. And we only had two colors. We only had the white and black. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the gray, bro, there's so many color waves that we can do with that, bro. It just only a matter of time. But we're gonna go ahead and get into the intro. Welcome back to Self Revelations. It's your boy B-Dab.
And I'm Juan Moreno.
We're back with another episode. We appreciate you guys for showing as much love as you guys have been doing on all of our socials. I think the Twitter is the only one that we gotta get up. Cause like all the other ones have been popping, the Instagram, TikTok, even the YouTube, bro. The YouTube, our subscribers we broke the 500 mark. Like that's a big accomplishment, bro. Considering where we was at, like that definitely is a big like motivator. And like I don't know, it's just something about hitting the 500 mark, and then on TikTok hitting 15,000, like. That it's just crazy, man. And then we're about to hit 5,000 on IG, right?
Yep.
Yeah, about to hit 5,000 on IG. I was like, bro, that's big time. The goal is to get to 10,000 though, so we can start doing all of our subscription based stuff and all that stuff. But that's besides the point. But we've been doing phenomenal. You guys have been supporting us, this whole time and showing love and reposting our stuff, giving us feedback on our clothes. So we really love and appreciate you guys. But to get on topic, Wanavelli, how have you been doing? How's your path with getting your relationship with God right?
Yeah, it's one thing that's been weighing heavy on me ever since like my like conversion to Islam, which is something I would have never ever thought I would get into religion. Like I was born Catholic, I started to dabble in like Christianity too, because of like what you said, and other people told me almost similar things. Like the way I resemble is like a person of like Christianity. I can never say that word right.
Christianity.
Christian. How you say it again?
Christianity.
That sounds so weird. Yeah, Christianity.
Yeah.
But like, I always believed like there was God, because like I always been the type of person that lived my life and thought that it was all up to me, and all the pressure, all the desire, luck, opportunity was only because of me. But until I started realizing that, that wasn't sustainable. Like it carried me for these 27 years, right? Like 27 years I've gone through my whole life not actually fully believing in religion or fully believing in God, right? Like I believe there was God, but there's difference between being like a believer and like actually following, I believe. Like it's the kind of like there's those people that pray and those that don't. And so like I would pray only when times would get so difficult where I couldn't control nothing, or I had no control no more. And then that's when I would pray. And every time I did pray, things would always get better. So like I always had this like faith, like, okay, like God is there, because even when I felt the worst, he took me out of this. So like nowadays, I'm like, ever since my conversion to Islam, I have this super, super now different perspective with walking with God. Like he's in my mind, everything that I do. I always believe like, hey, even when nobody's looking, always do the right thing. Now for me, it's more of, even when nobody's looking, God is looking. So like now I have this like additional responsibility that he's going to judge me based off my intentions and based off like my actions. And some people that, you know, might not believe in God and might not believe that, hey, you know, even when nobody's looking to do the right thing, those are the type of people that constantly are doing the wrong thing when nobody's watching. So for me, you know, with this new relationship with God and getting closer, it has completely changed my life. I've started drinking less. I stopped smoking. I have not been smoking as much either. I've been purifying with my intentions. I've been way more disciplined than before. And I think it's because my relationship with God. Because I feel like God doesn't love those who are lazy, those who are comfortable, those who choose their desires, those who choose their lust, and that always base their decisions and their life towards how they feel. I feel like God encourages those that push themselves towards like uncomfortable situations and putting themselves outside their comfort zone in order to like live their way towards God and being like a better person for your family. And us as men, like we have the absolute most responsibility in the world. And I'm not saying women don't, but I'm saying for us, because we are men, we know that responsibility of like being a protector, nurturer, and helping to mold and influence like our society. Like we have a lot on us because we are capable of it. And in the Bible, there's a lot of responsibilities of a man and a lot of responsibilities of a woman, and your life is to like live it towards that way. And so like with my relationship with God, it's just gotten like stronger, and it's gotten way more tunnel vision on like to stay away from certain things and then to stay on the straight path. So it's been working out so great for me so far.
Exactly. And I think the cool thing about this whole process and seeing you all this way along is seeing you implement these things, and like nobody is telling you to do this. You know what I mean? Like you're picking and choosing. You're picking like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to better my life. I want to better my relationship with God. You know, cutting out the drinking or limiting it, and you know, praying more often, being better. Like you said, like searching deeper with your intentions and being a better person. You know, it's all showing, and I could see it from the outside. You know what I mean? Outside looking in. So I commend you for that, because it's easy for someone to be like, oh, well, like my family's this religion, that's why I believe in it. You know what I mean? Or my friends are this religion, so I want to like go in this direction, and not actually think for yourself and be like, you know what, this is making me a better person. I believe in God. I believe in you know, this religion. I believe in this wholeheartedly for myself. I have my relationship with God, and I am building to be a better person. You know what I mean? Because that takes a lot, and that takes a lot to do these things and to build that relationship with God, because not everyone cares. Not everyone even cares to have a relationship with God. No one even, like, a lot of people don't even think about it. There's a lot of people out there that don't even like they're only, like you said, use God's name or pray to God when something's going wrong. So I think there's a lot of, I respect you so much, because you're doing all these things to be a better person. Like, not saying you weren't a good person before, but I'm just saying you're doing all this to better yourself and better your situation. And, in the long, and this has been in a short amount of time, just imagine a year from now, you know what I mean? You're finding your truth. So I commend you for that, because I feel like, and me personally, I didn't start growing until, I grew up Jehovah's Witness, but I didn't start growing until I accepted it for myself. When it was to the point where it was like, oh, well, you don't have to go to the Kingdom Hall. You don't have to. You're grown. You don't have to do these things. You don't have to read your Bible. You don't have to live by these Bible principles. You don't have to follow these 10 commandments. You know what I mean? You don't have to follow this way of living. How are you going to be now? You know what I mean? And, living my life in the world and being like, damn, like, I'm doing this, and that. I know it's wrong. It's like, for what? Like, I'm not missing anything. Like, living in a way that pleases God is the right thing to do. So why am I acting like, because it was like a feeling of like, damn, am I missing out on something? Like, all my friends are doing it, this and that. But once I actually got to a place to where, reading the Bible, one of my favorite passages is Timothy, because Timothy kind of had lived the same life as me. It's like, where he was torn between two households. His dad wasn't necessarily a man of God, but his mother and his grandmother was. You know what I mean? And he got a lot of his upbringing from his mother and his grandmother. His dad was teaching him to get an education and go to school, and his grandmother and mother wanted him to get into the ministry. You know what I mean? So I feel like, in my sense, when my family, I was torn between two places as well. And I feel like through everything I've been through, it helped me to get back into a place to where it was like, okay, the most important thing is having your relationship with God. Because I'm pretty sure that's like one of the things that you don't even realize until something bad happens, or you absolutely need God. You know what I mean? People don't actually like realize that, but you wanting to change and accepting your truth and God into your life is truly respectable. And it's a in my opinion, I feel like it's a 1% thing. Not everybody is going to have that willingness to get better or to grow.
Yeah, and I commend you for it too. Like, I remember in the last episode, the last time we recorded, I was mentioning that, like, oh, throughout this whole process, you have never judged me, or you never like persuade me on like, are you sure, or like, you never said nothing negative about what I was pursuing. And I felt like that says like a lot about like your character, because me and you, like us three, like, we bullshit, we talk shit. Like, people might see this, right, the conversation that we have, and then they might see us like in person. Obviously we're still the same, but like, they might see us talk shit and they'll be like, oh, that's not the guy who I listened to on the podcast talking about God this way. But we're two people, three people, like, constantly trying to get better, right? Like, my relationship with God is my relationship with God. Like, at the same time, like, we're in this world, we're humans, we have flaws, and we are people that are trying our best, and we joke around, and the fact that we can have a conversation, we can have a podcast together, we could be two different shades of skin, two different backgrounds, two different households, two different types of beliefs, but at the end of the day, it's just when you really piece it together, it's like we're just trying to be better people. And like, when you think about it, who are we to judge? Like, I look at my life, like, who the hell am I to judge anybody? Like, I still make mistakes. I still fall to my vices sometimes. I still say foul language when I don't need to. I still have negative thoughts, sometimes even negative intentions at first, and I have to correct myself and tell myself in my mind, like, hey, no, like, don't do that. That's not the right way to think, or that's not the right way to approach the situation. Like, constantly trying to get better. So for me to judge somebody, and then to see you not judge me, like that just like strengthens a relationship, and it really says a lot about you. And I feel like you get rewarded yourself for you not acting on maybe how you felt or what you should say, but instead you chose to be this way, which is like a more positive and more loving way how God would want you to be in maybe somebody else's difference of view or opinion. Like I think you get rewarded in life that way. Like we're so like caught up in like cherishing the stuff in the world that we're so distracted. Honestly, I've got to a point where like this is like maybe too strong of an opinion, but it's hard for me now to trust somebody who don't believe in God. Because then if you don't believe in God, what do you worship then? The world? Like you don't know if you're gonna be here. I mean, you don't know if this is it, right? Like what if there's another world? What if this is just a branch to something else? So like if you're willing to, give up certain things or cheat people or like underhand or do snake moves in the image and for the attaining of money and cars and women and just for this world, like I can't trust that. I can't trust somebody who's willing to idolize and worship things in the world of how they feel and what it gives to them. And that's a person that doesn't believe in God too. I feel like certain things just started to line up for me. It's like the foundation of believing in God has more of accountability of that person than somebody who doesn't believe in God. And so like, yeah, I mean, I was just saying that to say that, but I mean, I truly believe that, but I mean, I did want to show my gratitude towards you as a friend for like never judging me this whole time.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like if that's your truth, that's your truth. I'm not here to, I wasn't put on, earth to make you believe in the Bible or make you believe in a certain thing or whatever. I know through my experiences and all the things I've been through, I know who's been there 100% of the way. Jehovah God has pushed me to limits that I did not see myself going to or being, and I cannot be thankful enough, and all I can do is be, the best person I can be for you guys. I know I joke around bullshit and, my rhetoric, like, and how I am, it can come off kind of like a jokester or, a person that plays too much. But in all reality, like when it comes to like being for real, like I'm just trying to, be the light for us or for anybody I come in contact with, and I'm not perfect. I'm trying to go down a path of like righteousness, and I'm trying to be the best person I can be because I mess up all the time, bro. Like every day. Like I find something new that I have to work on. But like this path is like, it's a grind, just like anything in life. Like you're never gonna reach to a point where it's like, I've read enough of the Bible. I've read enough of the Quran. Like I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for years. No, it's still stuff that you can learn years and years later. That's one thing I've learned in my process of like in building my relationship with God. Like many times where I, got my pride in the way, I've kind of been knocked down because I'll slip up with something I thought I corrected myself in, which I really didn't. But it just helps you to stay humble and just remember, like, nobody's perfect, but you can keep trying to do your best. And I feel like when you were telling me all these great things about, this new discovery you felt, I felt happy for you because I was there in, your darkest times, one of your darkest times, you know what I'm saying? With the accident, with, things happening in your life, even going back to high school when you were driving everybody to school, dropping everybody off and couldn't even make it to practice and stuff like that. I remember all those times. We go way, way back, and just seeing you then and seeing how you are now, it's like night and day. You know what I mean? So if that's going to push you to be a better man, like I can't judge you. If you ever have questions about the Bible or about anything in that nature, I can help you, and I can give you advice, but I'm not going to force you to be a faith because it should be a calling, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, of course. Yeah. That's why I feel like you have to remain with an open heart always. And I feel like I never want to close my heart or my mind. I still strongly believe in that quote. Like The day you stop learning is the day you stop growing. So who am I to close doors that might be an opportunity for me to learn or cherish or maybe understand people? Like my thing is, that's why I don't really like I don't engage in debates. I don't really want to tell people what to do. I don't want to tell people like what's wrong or what's right. I can only speak for me, and that's usually where I'm coming from. Like when I'm talking like on the podcast, I'm talking about like what works for me and what doesn't work, what I seen not work, and by my own experience of what I seen. Like, you know, obviously there's clear things that are right or wrong that I have an opinion on that I'm not afraid to share too. But at the same time, like I'm not here to judge people. I really want to understand why you believe like what you believe and why you think of how you think, and do you truly believe that this is the best idea for the world, and why are you trying to push this on the world? Like it might work for you, but it's not going to work for everybody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think for me, it's like, that's why I try to remain with an open heart. Like I never want to say never to nothing, you know, except for certain things that are like just not my
Blatant.
alley or haram.
Yeah.
Like I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I rather just, you know, like if I don't like chocolate cake, I don't like chocolate cake.
Yeah.
If I don't like vanilla cake, I don't like vanilla cake. I don't want it. I don't want nothing to do with it. Like no judging, but like I don't know. I always just try to remain with like an open heart.
Yeah. No, I feel you for sure, because you can always learn from anyone. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like, okay, well, he's this religion, I can't learn anything from him. You might can learn something from that man.
There's a lot of people from the
that
world
person,
right
or like, oh, she's a woman, I can't learn anything from her.
now.
You know what I mean? Or he's this, I can't learn anything from. Like, you can always learn something from somebody, whether if it's good or bad examples. You know, you can look at someone and be like, okay, this is my cousin. He messed up and did drugs or did this and that. You can learn from his bad mistakes, and you can learn from another cousin that did everything right. You know, you can learn from any and everybody. But to transition all this into our next topic, I wanted to kind of tie this into relationships. So I wanted to ask you, with your, you know, knowledge of, you know, your religion and how you feel with your relationship with God, in a relationship, how important is it to have a relationship with God? Because I know me personally, I know with my woman, I know that she moves with certain intentions. So I know she moves on Bible principles. So I know that she's going to be loyal. She's going to be, you know, focused on, you know, the task at hand. I know she's going to be, you know, she's going to honor me as, you know, her man, and she's not going to be running behind my back and doing certain things, you know, and it gives us a form of comfort on my end, because it's like it's a lot of things that I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about, you know, X, Y, and Z, when I know she is following a path of righteousness as well, or she's moving in a certain way that helps build the trust with her. You know what I mean? So for you, like, how does that implement into having a good relationship?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I was like talking about earlier. It's like your intentions are like predictable. Like if this person believes in God, right, in a relationship, like as a woman, like she's gonna honor like her man, and she is going to support him and do everything she can to help make life easier on him. Like he is gonna protect her and, you know, provide for her financially in the world while she's taking care of the things that are at home. Obviously now we're like in modern times, so she can also have a job depending on your relationship too. But I think like the God brings like traditional sense, and I feel like there's a reason why, you know, certain roles are in the Bible, and God had like certain missions for men and women that build great intentions for relationships to work the many years that it did. But like when it comes to like a relationship with God, in a relationship, it just makes things more easier. You're not going to be influenced from social media. You're not going to be influenced from money. You're not going to be influenced from like other women or other men. If you are in like an ideal traditional, and you guys both respect each other, and you guys have both a relationship to God, no amount of women or men are going to be able to get into like that mold and basically make you guys go against each other. Because the world, I feel like nowadays in society, depending on how you look at it and what you choose to look at, kind of like almost it's created for you to be confused and have too many options. And I see that all the time. Like, you know, I could have a beautiful woman in my life, and then I scroll on Instagram, there's a lot more beautiful women. And then so now I'm like, it's kind of like right now I have a nice car, but then I see a Bugatti, and I'm like, well, that car looks nice. Like I would love to have that car. I mean, as a man, you have the similar almost like thoughts. Like you have your great woman, you love what you have, but then you look online, you're like, well, damn, I would love to be with this woman too. I would love to be with that woman. And I can imagine for women too. Like you could have a great man, a traditional man, hardworking, blue collar, but then you see a guy on a yacht, money, handsome, body, and then you're like, man, I would love to have that. So I feel like social media like creates this like, you know, conflict, and society almost makes it like, you know, react on how you feel, do what you want, like, you know, city girl or like, you know, passport boys or like stuff like that. Like you're almost get influenced by those things. But if you have a relationship to God and you're disciplined, you're not gonna sway off those things. And that's one thing I've been learning. I've been, you know, living my life based on like almost like I'm very, very logical, obviously, and like very, very driven and ambitious, but you know, sometimes I'll sway based on how I'm feeling, right? Like, you know, things might not be good today, so I might go drink a beer because I'm tired, stressed out, but with my relationship with God, I'd rather just pray now. I'd rather just worship him now more than ever if I'm struggling, instead of go getting a beer now. And like the relationship with God makes your relationship better because there's like a true idea of how you're supposed to be. And when you don't have a relationship with God, your playbook is society and the world, and I don't think that's like a recipe for like a relationship.
Man, you couldn't have said it any better. Like you took the words out of my mouth. So the examples that you used were the examples I was gonna use. But no, you took it right out of my mouth, bro. Like I've paused, but no, like no, you were saying some real stuff, bro. Because at the end of the day, like chill, bro. Chill. I
was trying to
chill.
I was like, where's the yellow flag?
Chill. But it just makes everything so much easier, bro. Because when you are with somebody that maybe doesn't, you know, believe in something, it's like they're unpredictable. Like they like that's like being with someone that's a liar and that you know is a cheater. It's like, you know, like they're unpredictable. They can do, like, I'm not saying that someone can't change their ways, but I'm saying like it's unpredictable because they can do anything. You never know. You know what I mean? And that's not gonna leave you with peace in your mind. You know what I mean? The best thing that your woman can give you is peace and comfort. You know what I mean? Like, so if you don't have that, it's just like what's the point at that point? You know what I mean? So, but because I've been in a relationship where I was the person that, you know, I wasn't studying the Bible at the time. You know, I was in a point where I was really, really selfish. Thinking I was hot shit. I was, you know, not honoring the person I was with at the time. And, you know, she was, you know, treating me right, you know, being the best person that she can be, communicating stuff with me. And I was just at a point at the time to where it was just like, I was in the mentality like of the world. Like, I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. Yada, yada. And when you're doing certain things and then you have time to actually reflect on it and be like, instead of just rushing to the next relationship, actually having time to reflect and be like, okay, what did I do wrong? You know what I mean? Where could I have gone better? And it took years and years and years for me to actually like sit there and reflect. And it was at a point to where, remember when I was telling you, like, I sat down and thought about everyone I felt like I did wrong. And I reached out and apologized. Even if they thought I did, they thought like, you know, oh yeah, he did or he didn't. Or some people I reached out to and they were like, what are you talking about? I don't even, you know what I'm saying? I don't even think about that right now. But just the fact of like, I reflected and was like, no, I could have handled this a lot better. I don't care what they did. I could have handled this better. I could have handled it. There was only one person that I didn't reach out to, and it was a person that, you know, I was in a relationship with that cheated. That was the only person I didn't reach out to. You know what I mean? But everyone else, it was just like, I felt the need to reach out at that point because I was in a point where I just got out of a long-term relationship. I felt like that was something I needed to do, and I talked to one of my boys, and he kind of told me like, bro, like, you know, that's one of the things that helped me at the time when I was, getting to a point where I knew I needed to be better, and once I did that, I reached out to everyone. Everybody replied. I had good conversations with everyone. Most of the people were like, like that's in the past. I don't even think about that, or like it wasn't even that deep, But the fact that I reached out just showed the maturity, and like not even on no like, oh, I'm reaching out to try to rekindle something. No, not at all. But reaching out to just basically, you know, meet him, have a how you say it, have amends with the things that in the past that I've done, because I know I wasn't in my I wouldn't say right mind, but I wasn't in a good place to be in some of my relationships, and I wasn't honoring my woman in a way, and because I wasn't moving in a way that would have been appropriate to Bible terms, and so fast forward to now. There's a lot of things that I do now with my woman, and how I treat her, with whether she's with me or not with me. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not running behind her back. I'm not doing things that can jeopardize our relationship. I'm not going out every weekend. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my best to honor my woman. So, but yeah, like that. Man, I forgot where I was going with this, but that's really important when it comes to a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, just to add, like, just probably one thing, like that's what you see nowadays in society is like it's lacking discipline and structure. People are reacting to how they feel and their lusts and desires, and that's why this whole world is like. I mean, sorry, not the whole world, but I'm saying like the U.S. specifically. Like that's why there's so much turmoil, so much problems. Like the worship is money and status so much to the point where integrity is compromised. Like nobody's really predictable. Like if you believe in God, you understand that this person is not gonna have like malintentions towards you based on their belief. People don't believe in nothing no more other than themselves, like selfishly. And like obviously there's certain times where you have to be selfish for yourself, but not to the point where it compromises your character. And like nowadays, you see people are worshiping their desires and lusts, which causes conflict with society and people because you're constantly trying to tell people that your idea is wrong. That's not right. Let drag queens show first graders how to twerk and, promote sexuality to kids. Like that's not right. Like certain things are just not right. Should you be able to be how you want to be? Of course. You should, drag queen shows, whatever, that's fine. But don't push that on people. Because just because that works for you does not mean that works for everybody else. Just because I've converted to Islam doesn't mean that the whole world should. Do I feel like it would be a benefit to the world because of discipline and structure? I think so, 100%. But I'm not here in this life to promote that. I'm trying to focus on myself. Like my relationship to God. I'm trying to be a better person for my family. I'm trying to provide for my family. I'm trying to like fulfill my biggest ambitious desires while having a close relationship to God and my purpose, right? But I don't need to project that to people. I could just share my message and hopefully be an influence. Like that's what I'm saying. If you want people to convert to your ideas, be the best person that you can be in that idea then. But don't push it onto people because then now you're pushing your beliefs on people that I know truly is not going to work for them. Like what works for me might not work for you. And that's just the reality of the world. I think until we realize like it's best to understand people instead of telling people what to do to a certain extent. There should be guidelines. There should be rules for sure. But at the same time, it should be a fair way of life to have your opinion on anything that you feel, but not to act and judge and force down people's throat of like, you should think this way. Yeah. Like, I think that's a lot of the problems. And it's just a beautiful thing to like have a relationship with God because I'm not in that world. I'm not in your world. I don't care like what you think, how you think, what you believe. Like, I know my intentions and what's way more important to me. So I'm not even gonna tap into your world. I might correct you if you try to come off to me sideways, for lack of a better term. But like, I'm gonna remain in my straight path, not your path, which is all over the place. You know, you feel like this today and you change up tomorrow. You could feel that you could believe this today and you change up tomorrow. That's not consistent, nor can I trust a person like that. The fact I'm even talking to you is a waste of my time. Like, you're not helping me get to where I'm trying to go. You're not adding to my life. Like, this conversation is way past over. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, I'm a very nice, loving guy, but at the same time, like, I understand, like, there is people that have their hearts closed and they're just stuck in their ways, and like, those type of people I just try to get away from. You know, hopefully you find your way to God, hopefully you find your peace, but like, you know, I'm gonna need you to move away from me.
Yeah, I can't be around people who are stagnant, like in the same place. Like, if I see you and I haven't seen you in 10 years and you're in the exact same spot, I can't mess with you. Cause that energy is gonna rub off on that just you being in an environment with someone like that is gonna rub off on you in the wrong way. So I'd rather just, hey, keep it pushing. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, like we said, like, your environment, you know, you're gonna be molded by your environment. So if you're constantly around people who maybe are unemployed, or people who don't believe in God, or people who are, you know, abusing drugs, abusing alcohol, not taking care of their bodies, you're going to follow a suit. If you're around people who are, you know, hustlers, who are, you know, taking care of their body, maybe doing CrossFit, working out, doing different things, readers, people who are entrepreneurs, you're naturally going to evolve in that aura. You feel what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I 100% am behind you at everything that you were saying. You know, we do live in a society where they do push agendas and they do push narratives down our throat. And if you don't accept that narrative or agenda, you're canceled, or you should never be able to do what you do for a living ever again because you don't believe, or you don't agree with what we're pushing. But it's okay for us to push an agenda, but if you tell us your beliefs, we don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? Like, that's the part that causes a lot of conflict in our modern day. And I know you've seen it, you know, all over social media, all over, you know, it could be with anything. It could be with the video that we seen of the drag queen at I think they were like 4 or 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds, like twerking, doing a thing. I don't know what it was for, but it happened. You know what I mean? Or anything like that. It's just like, even in their mindset, like a child, like, they're focused on when they can go to recess, bro. Right. You know what I mean? They're not thinking about like
sexuality,
sex. They're not thinking about fucking. They're not thinking about how to give head. Like that. Like it's certain. I know you've seen the video I sent you too.
Yeah.
About the book. It's just certain things, like, you just gotta let kids be kids. When you're grown and you want to make your decisions, or if you have questions about, you know, you having identity issues or anything like that, focus on, hey, what traumas are you going through right now? What do you need to fix? What do you need to focus on? Why do you have anger issues? Why do you have this? Why do you have that? Before we just immediately go to the extreme, you know. And what I mean by the extreme is sex changes. You know what I mean? Like, where are you having problems in your life? And if that's the decision that you want to make, that's a decision that you can make. You know, we still love you. You know what I mean? We still, you know, we don't want to get to a place to where it's like, you know, like we're doing the same thing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like you said, right is right and wrong is wrong. You know, if you're pushing your agenda on children that can easily be manipulated, it's not cool. You know what I mean? Because there's nobody going to the schools, you know, teaching kids about, you know, the commandments, which wouldn't be a bad thing to teach them. But we're living in a different time, in a different era now. And, religion and, Bible principles, they're being removed from schools. You can't, I don't even know at my nephew's school, I don't even know if they can pray publicly. I don't know if they can, I know they can say their grace, but I don't know if they can, like, it's certain things that that you won't be able to do at certain schools.
Right.
So, but yeah, I want these babies to be able to make their own decisions,
when they're up
and
to
not
age,
be when they're of age and not
mature.
make decisions.
Because, bro, imagine
for the rest of their
if
life.
you think about us, imagine if I felt a certain way at 17, there was moments that I'm talking about dark ass moments, right? I had dark moments where I thought about like the worst of thoughts, like committing suicide at like 14, 18, and then look where I am now. Imagine if I made a decision based on how I felt, and to see where I'm at now. And if I were able to see that, if I made that action, I would have instantly regretted, because I'm like, man, you would have figured it out. Like, you would have found God. You would have found the truth. But you made a decision based on how you feel, because you didn't have the answers. You didn't have the knowledge. That's why it's good to ask questions. Like, but what's more important than asking questions and having the knowledge is having the right people. Like, that's why it's so important to have people that genuinely want the best for you, and they want to do their best themselves. Like, because, you got to be careful with that type of stuff. But I know you have like another topic in mind you want to get into that we can.
Yeah. I feel like we can go for hours about like that topic in specific, and it's a whole bunch of things. We can go into mental health, talking about things we've been through, dark times, times we wanted to quit on life, and it just doesn't, I don't think we have enough time to talk about those type of things, but they're great topics to talk about. But the more things that I wanted to kind of get into is, in a relationship, how do you feel that someone could stay on their purpose and still be in that relationship? Because I've heard a lot of people say like, oh yeah, like I can't do this relationship because I need to work on myself, or hey, I don't feel like myself, we need a break, or whatever it may be. How do you think someone could stay on their purpose and still pursue a relationship?
I think that's where it comes with like, okay, so I hate saying things like this, but I'm going to like obviously like go in detail. Like, you need to communicate, right? Like, you need to communicate your role. I believe as the man is the leader of the relationship. That's the way I look at myself. That's the way the Bible says. That's the way God wants it to be. And that's truly what I feel, and it has worked for millions of years, right? And so like for me, I believe like with the man, you should communicate the role. Me, I'm trying to provide for you. I want to take care of you. I want you to bring me peace. I want you to take care of the home while I'm out there in the world. When I come home, I want to be at peace. I'm constantly in a masculine mode as soon as I step out of this home, because you gotta be like, like YG says, you gotta stay dangerous. Like now it doesn't mean that you're negative and you're pessimistic and like you're violent all the time, but it's more like you have to flip that switch. So like, I want to come home and like be around the femininity of my woman, the softness, the sexual tension, sex, like the touching of a woman, the cooking of a woman, the smell of a woman. Like, I want to be at peace. And like, that's why it's so important to have like your roles identified. If you want an alpha woman, you're gonna automatically be a beta male. I don't truly believe that there can be two alphas in one household in a relationship. That does not work. I truly believe that there cannot be two equal feminine people in a household and it work. I've never seen it. Even like, there's like, different type of relationships, right? Like, was it heterosexual, homosexual, and whatever? There's always one that's way more masculine, whether it could be the woman nowadays because of society, and the man be more feminine. It can work. But I've never seen it work long term. That's the issue. So I think that's why it's so important to have traditional roles or just identified roles of like, this is who I am. This is what I'm trying to do with my purpose. Like for me, right? Example, my purpose is God first now. which has changed from like my whole life, my last 27 years. Now hopefully, these next 27 years I could live towards God and show him my praise and like show him my true love. And so that's my purpose, is like God first, my desires of ambition second, which is provide for my family, having everybody retire, and third is everything else. But obviously it's a domino effect. My relationship with God that makes me better then makes me be better for everybody in this world and the women in my life, because I'm going to be with full integrity. And so I need a woman that is going to be, that makes my home when I come home. That makes me relax, makes me ease off, like makes me take the coat off, relax, and to be able to support me. And so like that's why it's so important to have, communicating like what you need in order for you to pursue your purpose, because that's first. God, your purpose, that's first, more than any other woman. And as a woman, I can't really speak for that. I don't really understand like, what would their role be, but I still would feel like your relationship to God is first, and your man is up there, almost not up to God, but like up to that certain extent of like you should be able to support him, because he's the one putting his life on the line for you at the end of the day when it happens. And hopefully that's the man that you have. That's why it's important. I truly believe like you should find a man that has a relationship to God, because then he's not caught up in the world. He's more caught up in trying to be the best person he can be instead of trying to be the best person he could be for the world. He should still be that, but when you're pursuing God, it just comes with that too. So yeah, I believe like in order for you to stay intact in your purpose and in your to stay like committed to your path of like your purpose, you need to let your person know like what is your priorities, and that I will never give those things up for you at all. So like if you're becoming toxic in the household, or if you're being negative for me, if you're trying to be a distraction, you're not supporting me, you're constantly trying to hold me back, this is not going to work, and the door's right there. You're more welcome to leave, because I'm not going to force you, because I could hopefully, if God wills it, I can find somebody else who could be that for me, and you might not be that person. You might need a man that's lets you walk all over him. Maybe you want a man that wants all your attention. Maybe you want a man to just listen to everything you say.
Be there 24/7, unemployed.
I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. So you could find somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. And I 100% agree that relationship with God and being on your purpose, like that has to come first, bro. Because even like sports wise, like pursuing like, professional ball, or pursuing anything, it could be school, it could be anything on that end. I feel like communicating with your partner, hey babe, like there's just certain things I have to do. I have to go and do this podcast. I have to go and work out. I have to do these things. It might cut back on time that we can talk or be together, but the right woman's gonna understand. You know what I mean? She's gonna completely be there for you and support you. Like, okay, babe, like is there anything I can do for you? Okay, is there anything that you need? Yada yada yada. Like those type of things is what gives so much comfort. Like, and with my woman, like anytime I've ever told her like, hey, I gotta go to this workout, hey, I gotta do this, I gotta go do this, I gotta do a podcast at this time, yada yada. Even though we don't like, we're doing long distance, I've never heard her complain or like give confrontation to anything I've ever told her. It's always been, okay, what do you need? Okay, cool, just let me know after. Or, hey, is there anything I can do for you? Or yeah, it's always been support. So that's what, as a man, because like you said, I don't know what a role for the woman might be on the opposite end, or like how do you stay on your purpose and still support your man. But for me personally, the most peaceful thing and the best thing that my woman does for me is she provides comfort and support on my end. Peace, comfort, and support. So when I'm telling her these things, or telling her about goals and aspirations that I want to do or want to accomplish or are on the progress of accomplishing, her providing that support and telling me like, oh yeah, you can do it. Even though I know I can, hey, you can do it. Okay, is there anything I can do to help you to stay on your path or yada yada yada? Hey, like even if we don't have to see each other this weekend, like we can see each other next weekend if you have something to do. Like it's never like that conflict, and that's what you really want to avoid. You feel what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. Like that's probably the number one thing I would say, especially in that, and it helps me so much easier because I can lock in and focus. I don't have to think of like, hey, like I'm trying to lead us on a path where we can be successful. Now, if I got you, dragging me down by my horse collar, it's hard to keep pushing forward if I got to stop every 10 minutes and check on you. You know what I mean? So, I 100% agree with you said, and you couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah, I mean, you too, man. I mean, I was like right on point to like what I believe. It's because like we've experienced it. It's in the Bible. You've heard it consistently. There's certain things that's been working for years. That's the reason why we got this far. But nowadays, people people that we need to have kids, are not having kids. Like sperm counts going down in men, a lot of things going down that's causing like a lot of relationships not to blossom. So it's like, there's certain things that like it's common sense, but common sense isn't common no more. And so like for us, it's like we got to spread that truth. And like regardless of what people say, people going to try to cancel because we don't agree with them. That's their problem. I mean, that's their heart. For me, it's like your mind is closed. Like, yet you're trying to praise and your ideology of like let people be free, but yet you're not letting people be free. Like it's very hypocritical. And people always try to say like, I made a post, right? I made a post saying that, men lead and a man never has the same energy as a woman. And somebody said, oh, that's a poor idea. I don't need a reply. I just liked it just to let them know I acknowledge it. Just like I respect your opinion. I respect that idea. But, I mean, I always like for people to maybe look within themselves and ask, well, how is that working for you so far? And the people are usually depressed, on antidepressants, constantly changing moods every day. And this is a man that messaged me that. Obviously, you're not a leader. Obviously, you're too in touch with your feminine side to the point that you're constantly on Instagram commenting on other people, sharing your opinion when you should be out there in the world, chasing greatness and doing what you need to do for your family. So, like, forgive me, but, like, what's understood don't got to be explained. And so I feel like people just don't hold themselves accountable. And so sometimes I think they need to get held accountable for their actions and their ideas. So respectfully, by the way.
Bars.
Respectfully.
He did the mic drop on it. Nah, for real. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. All your opinions, everything that we talked about, I feel like was gems. I really like where this episode had went, and considering last week not being able to get the episode up, I'm glad we were able to come to an agreement and get to a point to where we can get something up for the people that love us and support us. So I appreciate you, and I hope that you could stay on your journey and stay on your path. Chris, thank you so much for all that you do, bro. Like behind the scenes, for real, because even from the pictures and stuff that's gonna be on the website, bro. Like you stick your neck out for us a lot of the times, bro. With the camera, getting shit for the camera, like putting all this time and effort to come and support us, bro, and help us out. Like, bro, like you're doing all this because you want to be here, and that's that's why we fuck with you so heavy, bro. Because a lot of the stuff like that I was struggling with, you came in and helped me instantly. You feel me? So I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. Like we said, we love everybody, we support everybody. We thank you so much for all that you guys do for us, and we'll see you guys next time on Self Revelations.
Sheesh.